Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Xana K. I hope that you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can. And today we're going to be looking at this highly anticipated probable cause affidavit. Of course, Bryan Kohberger is having his arraignment in the next half an hour or so. So we'll check that out as well. Okay, you can hear me. Good. So I want to thank the docket for finding this document for us. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If you don't know who the docket is, he has a YouTube channel, The Docket 71, and you can buy him a coffee to say thank you for hunting Grizzly documents for us at buymeacoffee.com/the docket. Thank you to the Grizzlies who have already bought him a coffee. Okay, so we're going to dive right into this while I'm monitoring as well the updates that's happening on Twitter and with all the reporters at the arraignment and everything. Of course, from my stream last night, what happened was, I'm going to get into this now. I know someone's going to say, just get into it. We'll get into it now. But he was flown from Pennsylvania to Moscow, Idaho, booked into the Latah County Jail. And then today, they said within 24 hours, he needs to be arraigned. And so he's being arraigned today. I believe kind of as we speak. So we'll have a look at that after this. But let's get into it. They say in the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the state of Idaho, in and for the county of Latah. If you just give me 1 second, I'm going to have to quickly put you guys over here. I just quickly need to slow this down a little bit. Sorry about that. 1 second. I'm going to do that and slow. Okay. I hope we're good. All right. So let's have a look at this. State of Idaho plaintiff. I hope you can see nicely. Put it here behind me so you can see it very nicely as well. Okay, so let's get into this. In the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the state of Idaho, Indiana, and for the count of Latah. Idaho in. Oh, sorry. State of Idaho in and for the county of Latah. State of Idaho plaintiff versus Bryan C. Kohberger, the defendant. Date of birth, you could see it there, 11/21/1994. Probable cause order for the criminal case number CR29222805, Idaho Criminal Rule 4. Okay. Upon review of the information provided under oath, alleging the defendant committed the offenses of, we've got, I think I should move myself out the way just a little bit, so just hang on there. I'll be here. Okay. We've got count 1 is burglary, count 2, murder in the first degree, and count 2 to 5, murder in the first degree, right? So there's 4 counts of first degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. The court does not find, okay, so what they've ticked, I'm just going to read what they ticked. The court finds probable cause to believe the defendant committed the crimes shown above, which, as you can see, if you're just joining now, burglary, 4 counts of first degree murder. A warrant of arrest shall be issued setting bail in the amount of no bail. I think that his defense attorney can obviously still fight for some kind of bond or bail, but here it says no bail. At arraignment, the court may impose such reasonable terms, conditions, and prohibitions of release as the court finds necessary in the exercise of its discretion. This was dated 12/29/22 at 2:22 p.m. Signed on that day. Okay. They arrested him on the 30th, remember. Yes, no bail. You're like, the judge has a nice handwriting. Yes. I wonder how Bryan Kohberger feels about having a female judge, Megan Marshall, she's on my thumbnail, and then also a female defense attorney. You know, I just wonder. I know he's got a mom and 2 sisters, but like, damn, this guy, violent dude, from what we know, as much as innocent until proven guilty. Yes. Certificate of delivery. I certify that on this date I served a copy of the attached to William W. Thompson Jr., the prosecuting attorney. The date was the 29th of December, 2022. This was Latah County Clerk of the Court. Okay. So that's what we have there. I have more. So let me just quickly get it. I'm going to take that off the screen for a second. And here we got this as well. Okay. Thank you for being here. In the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Latah, State of Idaho, plaintiff versus Bryan C. Kohberger, the defendant. Warrant of arrest, and we could see the case number there as well. Okay, we'll look at all of Brian Enton's tweets and all the reporters' tweets. I've got them all pinned afterwards. To any law enforcement officer of the state of Idaho, information under oath having been presented to me on December 29, 2022, and there appearing to be probable cause to believe that the public offenses of Idaho Code section blah, 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 burglary, and then 4 counts of first-degree murder have been committed, and accusing Bryan C. Kohberger thereof, you are ordered to arrest and bring the defendant before the court at 522 South Adams Street, Moscow, County of Latah, State of Idaho, or in the case of my absence or inability to act, or if the defendant is arrested outside of this county, which he was, before the nearest available magistrate within the judicial district where the defendant is arrested. Bail, no bail, and he is hereby committed to the sheriff of the County of Latah, State of Idaho. The arrest may be on any day, at any time, or day or night, including inside a person's residence, which we know it was. They also say redacted was the 29th of December, 2022 at 2:22 p.m. Okay, the return of service is there, and I have one more, which goes into more detail. So, again, hang on. Let's just quickly find that one. Okay. Here we go. Okay. This one is 3 pages long. Thank you, Barbara, for being here. Thank you, everyone. All right, and thank you, mods. I know it was very last minute. In the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho, and in and for the County of Latah, State of Idaho, plaintiff versus Bryan C. Kohberger, the defendant, criminal complaint. And here we've got burglary, Idaho Code is a felony, count 1. Murder in the first degree, 4 of those counts is a felony, count 5. Well, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we go. This is what everyone is waiting for. Remember, if you're like so excited about the details, I mean, this won't have everything in it, as we saw. For example, in the Delphi case, everyone was dying to see Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit. And yes, there's interesting details, but it's not maybe what everyone's expecting. I don't know. So, count 1, burglary, that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, the state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. Count 2, murder in the first degree. So, here we go. That the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogen, from which she died. Count 3, murder in the first degree, that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County. So it's all the same, as you can see, did unlawfully, willingly, willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Goncalves, from which she died. And then count 4 is with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died. And count 5, here it says, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, so premeditation, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died. All of which is contrary to the form, force, and effects of the statutes above cited, and against the peace and dignity of the people of the state of Idaho, where the complainant requests a warrant of arrest be issued for the person, Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/1994, and that the defendant may be dealt with according to the law. And that's it. Nice signature. Yep. That's what we got. Yeah, that's literally where we get it from. The docket is our document dude. So if you guys want to buy him a coffee to say thank you, it's buymeacoffee.com/the docket. Okay. Oh, sorry. Now I took myself off the screen there. Let's do this quickly. And now let's check what's happening on Twitter there. Okay. Now what I could do is this. Sorry, just wait 1 second. I'm just trying to sort this out quickly. Okay, mods, I hope we're okay with everyone here. Make sure if you want me to go slower, just let me know. Okay. So now we're going to just quickly want to close these things so that I can show you all the Twitter updates because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on today. And we're going to put that one there. Okay. Yes, we've got it. I've got it now. So we're getting it. Don't worry. We're still good. I'm going to show it to you now. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all the tabs. Yes. Don't worry. We've got all the information. It's coming. Stand by. I could play some music while you stand by if you want. Okay. So let's do it like this. Trying to monitor everything. Here we go. Okay. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Latah, State of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by the Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of Corporal CPL and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. CPL Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the FBI. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., the Moscow... Okay, sorry if I'm reading fast. Slow down. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., the Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police ISP forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer OFC Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. OFC Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. Now, if we've seen all the walkthroughs we've done of the house, I'm sure you're visualizing it like me, right? As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Okay, so one more time. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin, and Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane. Thank you so much. The docket's putting our watermark on here. County medical examiner dated December 15, 2022 to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves, hereafter Goncalves' room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera that there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. So now we know where Murphy was, in Kaylee's room. Wow, okay. The dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCoeur. I found out from my interview with Jack DeCoeur on November 13, 2022, that he and Goncalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter Mogen bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. There you go. I make it nice and big for you guys. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. In the single bed in the room. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed right next to Mogen's right side. when viewed from the door. And that's what we were wondering. Is this how they knew it was a K-bar knife? Oh my word. As I entered the bedroom one more time, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed right next to Mogen's side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA. Suspect profile. Ooh, there it is, you guys. Wow. Just gotta pause that for like 1 second. What? Sure. Okay. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA. Suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. This guy, what a dumbass, right? As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM, so that would be the surviving roommates, were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Okay, that we knew. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club, 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video at a local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. Okay, this video was captured by law enforcement. I believe that Kaylee's sister gave it to them, but okay. A private party, redacted, reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Wow. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Again, this is like, that's what we were thinking. Is it on the second floor? Wow. What? You guys. Sorry, I'm taking myself. I'm here. I'm just off the screen so you can see it really nice and big. If you want me to be back on the screen, you just let me know. But I think we're okay, right? All right. Let me just say hi. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'll be at the bottom. Good. Okay. Sure. A DoorDash. And they said that these murders were between 3 and 4, but now they're saying the DoorDash was at 4 a.m. So let's carry on. Sure. Okay. A short time. Okay, wait. I'm just going to start that paragraph one more time. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Damn. This is so crazy. It's like a little different to the timeline that we knew so far, just a tad, and even being able to hear Kaylee saying, "There's someone here." Wow. Okay. DM stated she DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but didn't see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." This is scary stuff, you guys. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1122 King Road. No, that says 1112, sorry. At approximately 4:17 a.m., and we've seen that one, it's the one right across, right? A security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. Oh my word. That is just like, you guys, wait, we're going to need a sip of tea here. That trauma. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. So she saw him with a mask on and dressed all in black, and he just walked right past her. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is. I'm looking at your comments. Yes, it's even worse than we thought. I know, right? This is intense. I agree, Indie Girl. Thank you all for being here. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of a suspect video, as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then aminoblack, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern, similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. So when we saw the body cam footage from earlier in the year, wow, so Dylan didn't live on the, if you face the front door, she didn't live in that bedroom on the right. She actually was on the second floor. Goodness, that's what was speculated. So, based on photos, right, that she shared on social media. And then the other roommate was on the bottom on the left-hand side, if I read correctly, based on what they're saying. Okay, as part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect's or suspect's vehicle, right? Traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at the Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared that suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1, starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. I just quickly want to check on everyone. Okay, let me slow it down just a little bit. There's lots of people here. Thank you for being here. Sorry, I'll slow down, you guys. I think I'm reading a bit fast because I'm like, what? Okay, we'll do it slowly. By the way, there's 19 pages of this, and we're on page 7. All right. So, are we ready to continue? Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Remember when they looked at the road and there were those tire marks, like as if someone had sped off like that? So it must be from that. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. That I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. So there they already knew, huh? The road leads to Pullman, Washington. Wow. PJ's and Messy Bun. That's right. Thank you for being here. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years of law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270. SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington, was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. And as we know now, it's a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. 5:25. Wow. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. Thank you, Alicia. Yes. No victim blaming. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on SR 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. Depiction showing Moscow Pullman. Wow, that's a very dark little map, but I can't see quite what's going on there, but it's just like, I think there's just little points here. Yes. I know we have to do some map time. I'm probably going to have to plot this all out and do it another time. I don't know if I could do it right now, but we'll have a look. I just want to read through all of this with you and see what's happening with that arraignment. Thank you for being here. Okay. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're going to be working to create some lengthy map times. You know I will. I want to get it right. So, okay. Depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel not to scale. It's really, this picture is so dark. Oh my word. Okay. We'll figure it out though, based on everything they said. What does this say? 1630 Northeast Valley Road, white Elantra seen returning to the campus. Oh, okay. You can see all these little red markers like that. Okay, so I'll be working on that later. You know what I'll be doing? A lot of map time, so I could bring it to you. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with the Pennysylvania license plate LFZ. I don't know if you say Z or Z, you guys. Sure. LFZ or Z, however you say it, 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, the last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. Julie, I'm also wondering, where was he from 4:30 to 5:30, or is there a time zone? There actually isn't one there. It should be the same time zone between the two. It's only 10-minute time difference there. Very interesting. In the parking lot, okay. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car, and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's WA state driver license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male that DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff Deputies CPL Duke's body cam and reports, showed that on August 21, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that we saw. Remember that? And that was quite close to the house as well. 1.7 miles, you guys. But he was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by CPL Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennysylvania plate LFZ8649, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. So therefore, it was already set to expire, right? This was in September when they stopped him, which is why people are saying maybe the license plate change wasn't abnormal. It was just time, you know? During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as, so they redacted that, ending in 8458, hereafter the 8458 phone, as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. Kathleen, you think like me here. It's like he may have been in the arboretum hiding the weapon. He may have been. On October 14th, 2022, so that's a month before the murders, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ8649. On November 18th, 2022, 5 days after the murders, according to WA state licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with WA and later received a WA plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Barbara, you say not the same time zone. Idaho has 2 time zones, and I believe Moscow, Idaho is the same time zone as Pacific time, correct? Let me know. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado, information provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16th, 2022 at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, learned through a TLO search and locate tool database inquiry. We're on page 12. Yes, it is Pacific, exactly. Moscow, Idaho is Pacific time. So, yes. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that has this, but I have a really great source that gets all the documents as they come out. So, maybe. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud based forensics. These records also showed that Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Wow, it's like everything coming together here. He applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department. Kohberger wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. So that's what we've all been looking at. Jules says, so the guy talking on TT with inside info was right the entire time. Scary, huh? Okay, so to continue on, they say Kohberger also posted the Reddit survey, which we saw those questions. We've gone over that as well before. I hope you checked it out. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show that the 8458 phone utilizing cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 and 5 a.m. That's the thing, you guys. Exactly. We, the public, only know 5% of what's really going on in the case, as we can see. I know it might feel like we know more, but at the time, but no, we're finding out a lot here today. So the phone, he doesn't seem to have taken that phone with him. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigation, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cell telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cell device associated with them was in a particular area where the crime is committed. I was wondering, I mean, this guy made so many mistakes that, thank you. He made so many mistakes that you would think he probably had his phone in his pocket or something. Not that we want criminals to do better, but you know what I mean. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it's possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant. Oh, this is going to be interesting. For historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T. Approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From the information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th, 2022 to November 13th, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201. Pullman, Washington, hereafter the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone, leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cell coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to ID State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho, north of Genesee. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on ID State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. So, man, not only did they have the white Elantra's travels and all the cameras capturing it, but then also to pair it with the phone, wow. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. I'm just going to read that one more time for myself here. Just hold on. Okay. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. So he went back. But this was on November 13th, right? So you remember when we saw that white car behind the reporter? Wasn't that from the 14th or 15th? This is so scary. My word. He went back. Drea says he really messed up big time. What will his defense be on all this? Multiple screw ups, huge mistakes. And yet he's so overconfident, being like, I believe I will be exonerated. I know, right? Algo classic, revisiting the crime scene. So that might actually have been him with behind that reporter, not on this day, but he might have gone back again. Yes. Okay, continuing on. I'm looking at this. Sorry, what now? Okay, the 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent The 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at 9:32. Below is a depiction not to scale of the possible route taken based off of cellular site locations. We'll get another little dark map, but at least they show us like this. This is a possible route based off of the cellular device locations. Okay, so from... Don't worry, I'll do map time at some point. I just want to read through this and see today's arraignment updates. Then I want to figure all this out. Like, damn, look at this route you took, it seems. Thank you, Rebecca. That's what I thought. Yes. Ah, yes. Jason Jensen, welcome. You say he returned to search for his sheath. Probably yes. If you guys don't know who Jason Jensen is, he's a PI. If that is you, Jason, in the chat right now. Private investigator. You may have seen him on Court TV. He worked the Moab double murder case. So yeah, welcome to the chat and saying he returned to search for his sheath. He left it right there. Wow. Investigators, so now we're on page 16, you guys, of 19. Investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14, 2022. But investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training, experience, and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. That's what I just read, Mary. And Nubian Max says, this is why Pop said people were cleared too soon. I get it. Okay, so additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. Jesse says, do you think it was possible he left that front door open when he went back? I don't know, because he didn't go back in the house. But maybe. That is so scary. I don't know if he just did drive-by or what happened there. Oh my goodness, this is just very... On December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022 to current prospective location information and a pen register or trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims, in this case, prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. After consulting with Cast SA, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. And thankfully also the time period in which he moved there around June, right? Thanks, Lissa. If you can email me that. If anyone wants to email me, it's grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Okay, now let's look at this historical data. The records show... Wait, the records for... Okay. They were able to determine the estimated locations, right? The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 112 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. Now, that is exactly what John Kelly said when he was on the show. I know we all expect it's like the wooded area and maybe driving up to the house and stalking the house, but there it is in writing, like at least 12 times he's going there. Whoa. On one of these occasions, on August 21st, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke, as mentioned above. The 8548 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time. Farm Road and Pullman Highway. That's the seatbelt one. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho, via the U.S. Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand, located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store, located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cell data from the 8548 phone. Nancy says he probably figured when someone saw him, he thought they'd call 911 right away. And since they didn't, he wondered why it wasn't all over the news. He had to go back and check. Oh, that too as well. Yeah, could be that. Yeah. Susie Glue says, this is just the probable cause. I'm sure there's so much more. I agree. This is supposed to be like underwhelming, but yet we're like, what? This is crazy. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. I just want to see again which date this was. Oh, November 13th. Okay. Is this him like building alibis or what's going on here? 12:36 p.m., November 13th. So he goes for coffee, US Chef store, 12:46 p.m. Okay. He then goes to the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1, at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. Okay, so we still got to map all that out. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cell resources that provide coverage to Johnson ID. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. Sorry, what now? At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. I just want to read this again for myself. Sorry, when I pause every now and then. So they looked through the trash. The DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the father. I just want to see what you guys say about this. Yeah, the person in the house was linked, exactly. I'm just like, sorry, what now? Here we go. Hope says they are saying that the person in the house was linked to the DNA profile. Okay, yes. Agreed. Based on the information, I'm requesting an arrest warrant to be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger. So remember, they said they had genealogy technology and the DNA and everything to catch this guy. So they looked through the trash, they found the dad's DNA, and it was matching to Bryan C. Kohberger's. That it's genetically linked, right? Based on the information above, I'm requesting an arrest warrant to be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/1994, for burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. I declare, under penalty of perjury, pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho, that the foregoing is true and correct. 12/29/2022, affiant. Well, Michelle says, well, my brain is on overload. Even me. Yeah, so packed. Yes, link to the father, match to BK. The only person who should be judged is Burger Boy. Sure. Well, again, I want to thank the docket for getting us this document like straight from the courthouse. It was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to show you guys quickly something here. And then I want to show you all these Twitter updates. I'm sure there's a lot happening. What's the time? Yeah, 6, so 7. Oh. The time now. I think he's already had his arraignment, right? We're going to look at the updates now because there were going to be no live streams from in the courtroom or anything. But afterwards, they said they're going to post all the videos and we should be right on time for that. If the roommate saw him in the house at 4 a.m., why was the 911 call the next day? I don't know. I don't know. There must be so much, right? Can you guys still see me? That was heavy. Okay, so what I want to do is take this off. Okay. We're going to close that for now, but we can always look at it again. Here we go. Okay. So this is the docket. Go and follow him on Twitter at ChasingPaper89. I'll make sure to link it. And if you want to say thank you to him for he's been in the VIP lounge just about waiting for this document since many days ago. So good job to him for getting that for us. He's a Grizzly document hunter. You can buy him a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the docket. Thank you so much to the docket and Grizzlies. I hope you'll show him some love. I have to follow my lead. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, so now let's go to, let's see what's happening here. I will look at Brian Inton's tweets as well. Bryan Kohberger, latest. Go there to latest. Here we go. Okay. Kudos to the Moscow police, FBI, and everyone who worked on this case for getting this psycho off the streets. They have undoubtedly saved lives. Mary says they linked the dad's DNA, not a commercial DNA website like people, though. Yeah, true that as well. Good point. Good point. Blue Eyed Candy's like, he returned that same morning at 9-ish? I wonder if the roommates were still scared and locked in their rooms, maybe. Could be that as well. Yes, I wonder. You say, I believe they found the knife in his apartment. I wonder where that knife is. Okay, so let's look at the updates here. Why did Bryan Kohberger spare the roommate that saw him leave? Why didn't the roommate check on the victims? We don't know any of those answers, right? Okay, what I'm going to do is let's look from Anjanette Levy from the Law and Crime Network. What does it say when you have to resort to name calling and insults? It's a reflection, you and your argument. Yeah. Okay. Trash pulled from the Kohberger PA home used for DNA analysis. Yes. Phone doesn't report again. So that we saw. Kohberger's cell phone did not utilize cell towers near King Road on 11/13 at the time of the crime, affidavit states. I'm trying to find any updates of this. Law and Crime's Anjanette will be inside the courtroom for Bryan Kohberger's first appearance hearing in Idaho, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's what's the time? Yeah, okay, so that was half an hour ago. and they'll be taking your questions. So hold on one second. I just quickly want to go here, and let's go find Brian Enton. He won't be letting us know. Okay, no bail for Kohberger. His attorney asked, but the judge denied. Of course, his attorney asked, yes. Victims' families in the front row, crying when names were read. Next status hearing will be in 1 week. Full Kohberger affidavit here, so now they've also got it, yes. Going through security to get into court. No live tweeting will be allowed. We'll update when over. Okay, so we're still actually waiting for updates. They must still be in there. So we're waiting for that. You say he's done. Enton the man. Yeah, the burglary charge is for entering the house. Paul says he's done. If you've got updates, send it to me. Send it to me. That's the thing, Eve. We still don't know what they found during the searches of his car, his apartment, and his parents' house. Lots more info to come. Debbie, you say not as smart as you think. Like, definitely not. You can't believe this dude was like PhD, criminal justice, graduate. What? You're studying his PhD? He graduated from DeSales in May of 2022, then went to Washington State University. PhD student. What in the hell is he? This was just, and he's so confident, like, I believe I will be exonerated. What? Yeah, Nancy says, see the Richard Speck murder, the surviving witness hid under the bed for 7 hours. That too. And that surviving roommate who saw him said she was frozen in fear. So, don't know how traumatized. Okay, so let's look here at this one as well. We've got all the Twitters open. New hearing just started that was 5 minutes ago. So why are you guys saying it's done? 5 minutes ago. New, the hearing just started a couple of minutes ago. We will have the feed as soon as it's over. Oh, we're waiting for it. And we've got that probable cause affidavit to go over and try to map out. That's going to be quite hard. There were a lot of addresses listed there. I wouldn't mind reading that thing one more time if you guys are up for it. Okay, affidavit. Police traced the cell record to determine if Kohberger stalked the victims ahead of time. At least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, his phone was in the area of the home. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours. That is just so scary. That is what we thought, right? Stranger danger. Weirdo stalker, dude. Okay, you guys are like, yes, read it again. I just think, let's take just a tiny little break. It's a 1 minute thing that I play for you guys just so you can all take a deep breath, okay? Welcome back to round 2 of reading the probable cause affidavit. Thank you for being here. I think we all like, what in the hell was all of that? So let's do it one more time. I'll probably read this thing like 10 times. I'm sure you will too. And I will put the document on Patreon. That's the great thing about Patreon. I'm not trying to plug it. I'm just saying there I can offer lots more formats. On YouTube membership, you can only offer videos. But on Patreon, I offer pictures and documents and all sorts of things if you do want that. Barbara says his DNA will be obtained now that he's in custody, right? Miss Dewey's like, geez, pouring herself a large whiskey. I wish I had the time to do that. That was a lot. Wow. Okay. Hold on one second. Here we go. Yes, I'll put this on Patreon. Don't worry. Exhibit A. Are we ready? Yes, Elgo says about 16 people in the whole world could not be excluded as the biological father. Thank you, Rob. Okay, wait. I just want to check with the mods. Are we okay? With the slowest mode we're on now, and subscribing. You have to subscribe for 5 minutes and you chat with us. I hope we're all doing well. Okay. Yeah, gin and tonics all round. That's what I know. I know. We just read it, but I'm like, we have to just make sense of this one more time here. Grizzly told Xana, it's okay, I can help you. What is that? What does that mean? Mama Bear Blue says, I doubt he wanted to be caught, he just got too cocky. Mm-hmm. Always check the time zone for reports. Strange. Sorry, everyone. No problem. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're all good. Actually, one thing before we read this for the second time, just hold on 1 second, okay? I promise you I'll be back there now. I just quickly want to go here and show you this. This was just it's quite something, just in case you see it out there. I posted all of these earlier. One of the Grizzlies made this for us to show us how easy it is for people to manipulate the mug shot photos, because people were saying, I was confused. Is this really him smiling like this? No. It's an app called Facetune, and you could do so many things. Look at this. And there's so many more options that I have. So many things you can do. Meaning there's so many more photos that this Grizzly sent me of all the things you can do. So this is real, this is fake. So if you see this going around, just know the smiley ones and all these types of ones, they're all fake, okay? So this is my Twitter here. Wow, and I'm gonna still read you this. They say accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger's sister starred in a horror movie about young people being stabbed to death. Did you guys see that? Sasha says DNA, digital footprint, and a witness. No wonder law enforcement is quietly confident. I agree, right? Las Vegas Girl says, I honestly believe Bryan wants his old professor to write a book about him like she did for BTK. I agree. He wants notoriety. Yep. And I hope she doesn't, so that he doesn't get that. What do you think? Yeah, Elgo says, disgusting people would edit his mugshot. Yeah, there was one going around of him smiling. I was losing my mind. Look here, you'll see my tweet from earlier. I'm like, what is this? I said, I don't trust pick 3 there. I made my own little collages here. By the way, his mom wrote a little, I think this is mom, Mary Ann Kohberger. That's what people are saying. About Ted Bundy back in the day. Perhaps one of the saddest commentaries on mankind was evident during the execution of Theodore Bundy. While no sane, compassionate individual would excuse the atrocities committed by this man, neither would any sane individual applaud the passing of his funeral hearse. What have we become? Is the taking of a human life acceptable when the state takes responsibility for it? And man, the death penalty is quite likely for Bryan Kohberger's case. Yes, Mannequin says he better just plead guilty. What an affidavit. This I do not know. I don't know. We'll go through it again. Okay, I want to show you one more thing, then we're going to go through it again. Oh, yeah. This. John Kelly says, what's interesting is how people are talking about how smart he is, Kelly told Fox News Digital. Looking at it from an investigative standpoint and looking at the mistakes he made, criminology 101, he looks like a moron to me. You see, John Kelly is a grizzly. He's snarky like us. I like that. He's like, this guy looks like a moron. So I've linked the article there for you as well, and it's also on my community post if you want. Yes, unfortunately, with the internet, he's going to get it. Luckily, he can't watch any of the stuff, right? All the podcasts, YouTubers, the everything. Probably movies are going to be made out of this. Yeah, this. I said, what the hell is this? I'm getting this in my inbox and wondering what the source is. Is this edited? It must be. Or is it literally smiling for the mugshot time? And then one of the Grizzlies actually sent me lots of things of like, no, someone probably did this. Someone probably did this, edited it, and I'm like, that makes sense now. Okay. And by the way, sorry, I'm just quickly updating you with a few things. We'll go over it again. Here, they say sheriff's deputies in Idaho put a helmet on Bryan Kohberger before he was put into a waiting pickup truck. Look at this. He's here with a helmet on. You see? They didn't want anyone to, assassinate him. Goodness me. He must have quite liked all of that, I think. All of that happening. Okay. One more time before I read that again. Let's just quickly see what Bryan Anthony is saying here. Okay, still the same. Right, no bail. So let's go back here. Back to this. Are we ready? Yes, Vander Chimp says, thanks to all the Grizzlies who send useful stuff to G. Yes, thank you so much. It does help a lot, especially when I ask questions. You know I really want an answer. When I'm asking on Twitter, I'm like, what the hell is this? Grizzlies, help me out. Okay. So, okay, here we go. Are we ready for round 2? The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the county of Latah. So that I'm just going to skim right over. We're going to get to the details, okay? Here we go. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, MPD, Sergeant Blaker, and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith was one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised that he would walk me through the scene. Okay. Thanks, Laura. You say you are top notch, the best. Thank you. Yes, if you are up for it, please read it again. Hell yeah. Round 2. We're thorough over here. We nerds as well. I think Grizzlies, I think we all nerds, aren't we? We badass nerds, but we still nerds, okay? We like documents and we want to read it again and say, sorry, what now? Okay. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the 2nd floor, the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. So that leads me to believe the door may have been open, right? Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the 2nd floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle room. Where, Lou? Please send me the link to grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Can you please send it to me? Because I'm just reading this while we're busy with it. I would really appreciate it. Anyone got the link? grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Yeah, sorry, the Grizzly Nerd Herd. And that's the other thing. Tire marks will match. We are badass nerds. Okay. If it's blurry, just remember, use the little setting wheel, the little gear cog thing. Click it and make sure that you go to the highest quality because I stream in 1080p. So, okay, Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door. Okay, then they walked upstairs to the 2nd floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the 2nd floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. It's very interesting here. They say that. You know, they say with Kaylee and Maddie, they say stab wounds. And this, they say with an edged weapon. You know, it's just a little bit different. Law and Crime Network on YouTube. Well, you're saying I'm missing it, but I asked you, send me the link. Give it to me. Okay, I'm looking at it.
Yes, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogen, Ms. Cheeley,
Thank you.
and then a number of members of the Goncalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through a third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders, and if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson? Anything further, Ms. Taylor? No. All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
All right, there you have it. Your first look at Bryan Kohberger.
Death or imprisonment for life.
I'm going back. I don't want to miss it. Here we go. Going backwards. Ooh.
Defense attorney and former prosecutor Matthew Mogen, especially his eyebrows. There were things that really one after another point very definitively at this defendant.
Well, that's exactly right, Catherine. The eyebrows. I mean, when they
Michelle, really.
Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, cause number CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is present in court. He is in custody. He is appearing with his attorney, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for initial appearance. Mr. Kohberger, I am going to advise you of the rights that you have in this case. I am going to go over the criminal complaint with you, and then we're going to discuss setting the matter for further hearing. You have the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. That means the state bears the burden to prove that you are guilty of this offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. At that hearing, the state must establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. You have a right to have that hearing within 14 days if you remain in custody. If you are bound over at that preliminary hearing to district court, if the court finds probable cause, you would be bound over to district court. And at that time, you can enter a plea of not guilty, and you can have a jury trial set within 6 months of your appearance in district court. At both your preliminary hearing and your jury trial, you have the right to confront and question any evidence or witnesses called against you. Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial need. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you. Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogen, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Goncalves, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and/or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and/or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Kohberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Taylor, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Kohberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter?
Your Honor, I have. We would ask the court to set the status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent. And then, Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request as I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have just done our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Kohberger has a good family that stands behind him.
And Mr. Thompson.
The state's position is that Mr. Kohberger is not entitled to bond in this case. The charges, as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Under Code 19-816, 19-2903 both specify that given the potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. The defendant was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set of this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional and further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Kohberger, you will be remanded in custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Sharon. The state is asking for no contact orders for various family members of the deceased and also the surviving roommates. I've spoken briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
And Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and Mr. Chapin, the family members of Ms. Kernodle, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogen, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Goncalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through a third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. You cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders. And if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
All right.
Damn. Okay, everyone. So that we saw it right there. My goodness. Okay, I can close this window now. Back to the probable cause affidavit. Okay, we're going to read it for a second time. Thank you for watching that with me, for being patient. We've already read it once through, so we're going to read it one more time. Are we ready? So I went through the beginning, just to skim this. 4 p.m., MPD sergeants responded to the scene. There was a forensic team already there, Idaho State Police forensic team, right, on the scene, preparing to begin processing the scene. So Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appear to have been caused by an edged weapon, which, again, I'm going to say that's different language to what they said about Kaylee and Maddie, but it might mean nothing. I'm just paying attention to that. I'm just taking little notes, mental notes, okay? Make sure you get your Grizzly notebooks out. Those are available on Amazon. And let's write this down. Just make some notes. And if you want to send me emails with bullet points, I love bullet points, okay? If you send me an email with bullet points, I'm like, yes, I will read that. Okay. So also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane, let's just go here, County Medical Examiner, dated December 15th, 2022, to be caused by sharp force injuries. I agree, Perniel. I'm so glad we're all here together. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the 3rd floor of the residence. The 3rd floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. This we know, right, from looking at the layout. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves' bedroom, hereafter Goncalves' room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera that there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. Joan says, how can I get the PDF of the affidavit? Well, it's available on Twitter right now. It's out there. You can get it from the Idaho court as well. I will be putting it on Patreon later. So if you want to join Patreon, if you want this copy right here with the Grizzly True Crime watermark and everything, that will be on Patreon after this stream. So the 3rd floor consisted, yes, of 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. And Murphy, now we were always wondering where was Murphy. We speculated probably in Kaylee's room, but what if he was in the laundry room or in the bathroom? But he was actually in Kaylee's room. Okay, the dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCoeur. I found out from my interview with Jack DeCoeur on November 13th. So they already spoke to Jack on November 13th. That he and Goncalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter Mogen bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the 3rd floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. You see, that language is slightly different. Again, it might be the exact same weapon. It probably will be, but I'm just saying. Okay. And just hold on 1 second. I'm reading what you're saying, and I also quickly want to just look at an update here from Brian Enton, because he's got a family statement. Okay. We'll go back to this now. Brian Enton's family statement.
Be taking any questions at all. It's obviously an emotional time for the family, seeing the defendant for the first time. This is the beginning of the criminal justice system, and the family will be here for the long haul. And that's the statement for the media today. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Sorry, no, just watch your course. Sorry. We'll post it. I tweeted kind of the main details. No bond. Kohberger's attorney asked for a bond, and the judge denied it. Prosecutor said, "Look, we don't want a bond. You know, we found him 3,000 miles away on the other side of the country." He's going to have another hearing, status hearing, in 1 week, and that's when they'll talk about the preliminary hearing. And that was pretty much it. They read the charges. The families were in the front row. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't know why everybody's running down here. Oh, it's just the family leaving. I'm not going to chase them. Sorry, what was I saying? Status hearing in a week. That's when they'll discuss the preliminary hearing. At the preliminary hearing, I don't know why people are chasing the family.
Yeah. They are.
Kohberger. I read it. Just answered yes. Sheriff had to deal with the situation too. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get off here. We'll try to get the.
They say the family statement, but I don't see that. It must be right here.
My name's Xana Gray. I'm the attorney for the Goncalves family. We're not going to be taking any questions at all. It's obviously an emotional time for the family, seeing the defendant for the first
That's
time. This is the beginning of the criminal justice system,
Mhm.
and the family will be here for the long haul. And that's the statement for the media today. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. Short statement, short statement. Back to the probable cause affidavit. Thank you to everyone for sharing the updates and things with me. So we carry on. As I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side. What? When viewed from the door, the sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, suspect profile, left on the button snap of the knife sheath. This guy must have been so caught up in his fantasy kill, in the adrenaline rush that he was getting from this, that he really did the dumbest thing. Like, wow. There was a footprint. There's the knife sheath. There's the Elantra, a white Elantra. His mama's white Elantra caught on cameras everywhere. Then he turns his phone off in a certain window in which he's committing these crimes, but the phone is on before and after, and they can track all his movements. I mean, dumbass, if I might say so myself. Okay. We don't want them to be smarter, but like, yeah, wow. Okay. Waste of a PhD, huh? All that college, everything. Wow. What he did with his resources, it's infuriating. Never mind what he did to human life. What the hell? Like, okay, carrying on. Let's not get snarky now. The Idaho State Lab later located the single source of DNA, right, on the button of the button snap of the knife sheath, left right there. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by the Moscow Police Department. They said over 300 interviews were conducted by the Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Those are the surviving roommates. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence, which is, if you look at the front door, the room on the left-hand side. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. Okay, are we ready? On the evening of November 12th, and I've got the Google Maps open here in case I want to, there's just so many things to plot, but let's try. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF, that's one of the surviving roommates, at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Pierce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. So why that map said 8 to 9, that was obviously then the arrival time. And then because there was such a big gap in the timeline, at later times we were speculating, well, maybe they were there the whole time. Now that seems to be the case, right? They were at this party from 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. So Xana's boyfriend stayed there for the night. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck. Okay, this we've seen. We know that from the Twitch stream and everything. And here they say the video was captured by law enforcement, but I think provided by Kaylee's sister. A private party driver reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. That we know. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. I just want to write this down so I don't forget it. So this would be at 4 a.m. We've got a DoorDash order for Xana. All right. Imagine if they released that to the public at the time of all of this. Everyone would be going after the DoorDash guy. They'd be looking up DoorDash in Moscow, Idaho, who works there, and doxing everybody, I'm sure. Internet's a wild place. Jackie says the sheet didn't mean anything unless his DNA is on it, and it was on it. And that is why they were looking for a K-bar knife, because that's also what it means. They went to local stores and asked around for a K-bar knife, and we were all wondering like, how, why, how do they know it's that? Because you can't, based on stabbing wounds, know it's a K-bar knife. And then someone in the chat had said, but maybe it's because he left the knife sheet there, and that is actually what it is. So yes. Don't worry, Marla K. Write it down like I am, and we'll make sense of it. We'll make sense of it. Yeah, the timeline is so tight. We've got to Control-Alt-Delete and start fresh, and that's what we're doing here. Okay. So we know the timeline isn't too confusing, especially at this point. We know we're on page 4, because Xana and Ethan, we know, were at the Sigma Chi fraternity, but they were there from around 9 until 1:45. Between 8 and 9, they arrived, and they were there until 1:45, in which they arrived home. And then Xana was chilling at home, with her boyfriend, and then she was on TikTok around that 4, I think they said 4:17 a.m. We'll look afterwards. Okay. So DM and BF both made statements during interviews, right? So everyone was in the house by around 2 a.m. And by everyone, it means Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, Xana, Bethany, and Dylan. We already know their names, right? So I know they're redacting it here, but Bethany and Dylan, they were all in the house. 6 people in the house. Interestingly, also, Dylan's bedroom was on the 2nd floor. Bethany was on the 1st floor. Okay. So they say everyone at home by 2 a.m. and then asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. Thanks for the Swiss francs. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. And I think that was the, what do you guys call it? Jack in the box, something like that. I saw the packet and it said Xana on some of those forensic photos, the forensic team. It was Jack in the box or something. I was like, another Jack. Okay, just hold on. Yes. That was Jack in the box. Exactly. Okay. So I don't know if you remember those photos. There's a whole playlist for you guys to go over. If you're like me, you'll probably watch everything again. That's what I do. To be like, wait. And we already did an episode, everything we do know and everything we don't know. Those are helpful too. So DM stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the 2nd floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves, 4 a.m., by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the 3rd floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. So it could have been Kaylee saying it. So the dog was obviously making a noise because she thought that they were playing with the dog at that time. Wow. She thought, Dylan thought it was maybe Kaylee playing with the dog upstairs, or that maybe it was Xana saying, "There's someone here." Xana had been on TikTok at 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. So she probably looked outside of the door, right? And we will look, I'm going to show you again the house. I think we should look at Johnny Law's video again of the layout, right? Because that was good. And he was one of the first ones I heard say that he thinks Dylan's room is on the 2nd floor. He was right. Okay, So DM stated she looked out of her bedroom, didn't see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." That is scary. That I don't know what that. It gives me goosebumps every time. Yes, and Murphy. Everyone was thinking Murphy wasn't barking, but apparently he actually was. Also do have the Reddit post, so I know we've been here for a while, but this is quite a big deal, this what's happening here, right? I'll have to make a shorter video and record this, me just reading this through at some point as well. Okay, that's freaky. Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." What? At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like, I mean, that's hectic that it picked up audio as well. Distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. So if we go back here again just one time, 4:12. So at 4 a.m., the DoorDash. At 4:12, Xana is on TikTok. And then at 4:17, Murphy barking. And sounds from that camera. That is so scary. So the sound does travel there. They said it's like an amphitheater, right? I know, Paula, that is scary. Paula's saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." I can't even. I do want to say that John Wayne Gacy, this is just, I know this guy's not a serial killer, but I really think he wanted to be one. He just epically failed at it, of course. Thank goodness. And what I want to say is John Wayne Gacy used to do this thing. I won't be graphic. I've written a book on Gacy if you want to check it out. But he used to do this thing that while he was watching his victims die, he would read out Bible verses to them, literally like the walk through the valley in the shadow of death and all that while watching them struggle, right? And I just feel like this whole, "Oh, it's okay, I'm going to help you" thing is also creepy like that, you know? What up to the docket? Here's the docket, you guys. Now you can just click on this and go and subscribe to his channel, My Homie on Point, with the best crew on the internet. Bar none. Thank you, G. Thank you to the docket. Thank you for getting us that probable cause affidavit so fast. Holy moly, that was amazing. Okay. We've been hunting that thing down for days. So I'm going to help you. Ooh, it gives me those creepy vibes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so at 4:17, a security camera heard these noises, and a dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. So for everyone who said that Murphy, yes, it didn't seem like he was a barker, but he barked. It seemed like he barked then. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. 1112, yeah, that next door one. DM stated, now this is what's interesting, please don't victim blame. If you've ever been through a ton of trauma, you'll know everyone reacts differently to trauma, firstly. And secondly, so it's going to be fight, flight, freeze, or dissociate. And that also, wait, fight, flight, freeze, dissociate. Isn't there something else? But those four, right? Let's keep those in mind. You don't know which one a person will react to. So Dylan, seeing this guy, she said she was frozen, and she may have afterwards dissociated for all we know. We don't know exactly what happened. She may have passed out for all we know. So what they say here is that Dylan opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and then saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose. Okay, a mask. So this guy was wearing everything all in black and then a mask covering the person's mouth and nose, walking towards her. She described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase, and I cannot imagine what she saw. Linda, me too. And you know what happens, guys? I've been through a situation where I was also frozen in fear, and I still blame myself to that day, okay? So you just don't know how you're going to react. And it depends on what trauma you've been through in your life as well. And trust me, you hate yourself if you freeze in fear, but you can't do anything about it. Never mind if you dissociate. What are you going to do? You literally like leave your body. What are you going to do? So don't judge the roommates. We don't know all the details, and it already sounds freaking scary AF, okay? Suzette says, did he kill on the 3rd floor first? I also wonder, especially with the order in which they listed the victims, I wonder if that has any significance to it. Maddie, Kaylee, right? We have to look at that again. And then, so it seems so to me. It seems so, but I'm not sure. Okay, hold on one second. There you go. Thank you. We've got fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and dissociate. So Dylan was already saying she was frozen in a frozen shock phase. I think we've all been there, right? If not, if you've never been there, trust me, it's the worst thing possible, and you will guilt trip yourself and hate yourself for it for the rest of your life, unless you can work through it somehow. But I have not found a way. It's very hard to think, why didn't I say something, scream, do something? You can't. And then if you freeze in fear and then dissociate, yeah, good luck. You're not going to be very helpful as people are saying, why doesn't she phone? Why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? What must she do? You know, terrified. The male walked towards the backsliding glass door. DM then locked herself in her room after seeing the male. That screams terror to me. Just like completely in shock, sees him leaving, locks herself in the room, terrified. And we don't know where her phone is at that point either. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Oh yeah, Bella, exactly. She's probably judging herself enough and doesn't need anyone to help with that. And I'm 39 years old, you guys. 38, turning 39. Point is, when I was 18, something happened to me where I did this freezing thing, and I still can't get over it. I'm still like, why did I freeze? Like, what in the hell? So trust me, she's hard on herself already. I understand the confusion and like, what, but let's not blame her, okay? It sounds very traumatic, and we don't know what this guy looked like. He might have been, for all we know, covered in blood and all that, right? The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and the video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe that the homicides occurred between, let's write that down, 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Very interesting. Between 4 and 4:25. It's not a very big window, right? Thank you, Caroline. And Christine says she probably saved her own life. Exactly. Raging Wolf says, fear causes many friggin' different crazy actions. And trust me, can't control that. Yes, that's true as well. We've looked at that before as well. Yes. Okay, so then during the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. We were always wondering, where the hell is the shoe print? Where's the blood trail? Where's anything? But there was one latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom. So scary. Located on the 2nd floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. Yep, imagine what he had all over him. Of course she froze, so would I. So scary. Latent shoe print right outside her door. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, but this is probably why they said targeted, isolated, because a maniac who planned to either kill everyone and then we say maybe he got tired or whatever, all that. Well, he walked right past Dylan, right past her. Probably made, I don't know if he made eye contact or what the hell happened there, but that is so scary. And that is probably why all along they say targeted, isolated, even just based on that, right? As part of the investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspects or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. I still wonder, when the neighbor in Nunn said he saw a luxury SUV, I wonder if that was the DoorDash or something. How do we know what that was? I'm not sure. That's true. Her freezing helped survive to tell her story. Exactly, Jules. Thank you. Sylvia said, you don't freeze for 9 hours or more. Sorry. No, but you can dissociate. And you can be locked in your room in fear. You can. As part of the investigation, okay, so we saw the search, and they asked us as well, you know, the public, can you, if you have any information, please share this to everyone. If anyone has any video of this area, please help as well. That's true. Inside looking had many other facts. Bryan, an accomplice or rogue police officer that had info. I think it was Bryan. Even the picture used to look like Bryan before it was changed and deleted. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. And then they reviewed all of that, right? Exactly. That's true. Exactly. In my opinion, she didn't want to make a peep. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow. Indian Hills Drive. I really feel like I should prepare. Oh, damn. Okay, wait, what's that time? At 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue. Okay, I'm putting it in the map there. On Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. Then they looked at all the footage. There were multiple sightings of this vehicle starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. And they believe the murders occurred between 4 and 4:25. These sightings show the vehicle makes an initial 3 passes by 1122 King Road and then leave via Walenta Drive. Exactly. Are people confusing this? The call was made at noon. Those officers writing as part of the beginning of this went there at 4, but there was already a whole team there. The 911 call was made at 11:58 a.m. Yes? And the coroner arrived at 5 p.m., I believe. What time did Xana get her food delivered? They said at 4 a.m. Which is interesting too. Okay, so look at all the footage. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood. So this guy made 3 passes by 1122 King Road. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at 4:04 a.m. He really went in there. He killed them quickly. Huh? He really went in there with a mission. 4:04 a.m. arriving there. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road. Yeah. Unless he was covered in, you know what, yeah. Stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. This guy. The vehicle can then continue to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and driving eastbound again down Queen Road. So it's like literally going back and forth, and that point his cell phone was turned off, it seems like, you know, from maybe flight mode, right? Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. All right. 4:20 a.m. At a high rate of speed, suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is 10 miles from Moscow, approximately. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that utilized this footage. I'm just going to skim over this quickly. Okay. His specific training, we know about the training there. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, and upon further review, they found that actually it was probably a 2011 to 2016. And later, they actually confirmed what it was, and it seemed like it was what we know it was a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra. Chilo says it's possible the killer was dissociated as well. Maybe, but I highly doubt it. They're probably pumping with adrenaline and probably tired as well. There must be some fatigue after, murdering 4 people. So maybe at that point, it's just like, okay, I'm getting out of here. That is very, very scary, Brenda. Thank you for sharing that. A stalker broke into my house. He killed my dog. I hid in a basement closet for 6 hours. Please don't judge her. Thank you. Exactly. That's true as well. Wearing all black in the dark, you probably would not see blood. Also, they had been partying and she may have still been tipsy, not thinking right. All those factors to consider, yep. Yes. Okay, so investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, okay, that one was observed traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street. This was so he probably left his house around that time at 2:44 a.m. Remember when the neighbors say that he was cleaning his house between 1 and 3? I wonder, with all that premeditation they're saying here as well, I wonder if that was all to make his habits seem more like, okay, he's making noise between this time and this time, or he's awake between this time, and all of that, right? Okay. At 2:53 a.m., the white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman towards the SR 270. This connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being, and there we go, there they refined it, a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra, and it was a 2015 one. This as well, and that's dissociation. Yes. Time can pass without you even knowing what the hell, how much time passed. Sometimes it feels like a second, and it might have been 5 hours, 9 hours, for whatever it is. At 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras. I mean, this guy, hello, it's 2022. You're going to be seen on every freaking camera in your white Elantra. Wow. And on the WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was at 1300 Johnson Road. Let's see if I can just put that in a little bit here. Johnson Road. (1300 Johnson Road). Okay. Okay. Hold on 1 second. No, that can be, Lauren. That can be. You say that doesn't sound right. Oh, can be. Mission orientated, huh? Okay. I just want to see something. Grizzly Cat, can you please make a comment quickly? I'm waiting to see it. There's so much going on. Wait, there you go, there you go. Trying to catch the chat. I'm going to give you a range if that's okay. So just delete naughty comments, delete timeout, and then hide user from channel. Those are the steps we normally take. I'm sure you know all about it. I hope that's okay. Thank you. Okay, we won't be too much longer. I just wanted to go over this one more time with you guys so we can all just like really process this, right? Sun seen an S word and has been messed up since. Sun seen an S word and has been messed up since. Yep, I understand. And sorry about that. Okay, so 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman, the white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. 5:25 a.m. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive. This guy is like crazy. He's like going there, commits the crime, goes back, and then he's driving around again. What the hell is he doing? Okay, the white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to the West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on the SR 270 at approximately 5:27 a.m. The white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. That's just crazy. That's a lot. As I say, it's just too much to plot. You know what I mean? It's like so much going on here. We won't be too much longer. I'd rather just go and do the map time, prepare it beforehand for you guys. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to read here. He drove all over the place. On November 25th, 2022, November 25th, okay? MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra, or them white Hyundai Elantras in the area. And then this one officer, Daniel Tiengo, queried white Elantras at WSU, right? Registered there. And as a result of that query, he actually located a 2015 white Elantra with Pennysylvania license plates. So that's how they eventually zoned in on that car. The same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., the officer, Curtis Whitman, was looking for a white Hyundai Elantras and located it at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, an apartment complex. We've seen that before. So this is how, I'm going to skim a little bit. This is how they were like, okay, this is a 2015 white Elantra at WSU. And then the male with a driver's license that it matches, who's driving this car, is 6 foot, weighs 185 pounds. And the photograph shows he has bushy eyebrows, which is what the surviving roommate said. Kate, are people getting confused about this? Because I know this, but is this so that people in the chat know this? The officer said he went to help at 4 p.m., not that the call wasn't made until 4 p.m. Exactly. The call was made at noon, 11:58 a.m. So actually, I guess what you're saying, at 4:20, the car is leaving. So he's leaving the house, around there, 4:20. 10, 11. So 7 hours and 40 minutes or so. Thank you. Okay, Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male. The DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. So those bushy eyebrows, that was also quite the giveaway. And then they zoned in on his previous infraction. They got the body cam of that and all that. We don't have that yet, but I don't know if we'll ever get it, but I'm just saying. On October 14th, Bryan was detained as part of this traffic stop. We've looked at all of that as well. They saw the license plate. They started zoning in on this guy, Bryan Kohberger. November 18th, according to WA state licensing, he registered the plate. He changed the plate, which is what we were speculating. And now it's right here. He did actually register the plate, change it, update it, because it was going to expire November 30th. They believe that he's still driving this white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. I believe, again, grain of salt, but Fox News reported that that was planned. It was, the 2 stops with the body cam footage, that the FBI and U.S. Marshals, law enforcement officers, they're all working together, and it was planned to actually stop the vehicle so that they could see if he had any injuries to his hands and things like that, and that they could talk to the guy and see the driver's license and maybe even get some DNA then. We don't know. Okay, moving on. I think that was pretty much the biggest thing we wanted to go through, is that initial timeline, right? Kohberger, this was also a big one, wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Again, we got those Bundy vibes, because Bundy was like, ooh, I can help with a rape crisis center. I can make little pamphlets for everyone. I can be a big help. Like, seriously? You want to help with safety, public safety operations? But even this, you could see he's got this technological, knowledge. And then Kaylee's LinkedIn profile was deleted on November 13th. That's yet to be discovered. Why? Who deleted that? Was it maybe him? We don't know. Interesting. And then, of course, the university website was also down that day, but that could have just been routine as well. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. As part of the investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize the cell tower. Now, this was a little bit interesting. Here we go. Okay. It's all very interesting, but this is the second time we're going through it. November 13th, right between 3 and 5. So they knew that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and this phone number, and now they were going to pair the two together. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell tower resources close to that proximity between 3 and 5 because he thought he's so smart. He's probably going to put this phone on flight mode during that time when he's doing a little 3-point turn and can't even park his freaking mama's Elantra. This guy. Wow. Okay, so carrying on. December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records. And through this, they found that Bryan Kohberger had been to that residence at least 12 times in the early hours in the morning, in the night, late night, early hours in the morning, 12 times stalking the victims. Paranoid Android says, so you used a second knife and that's the one they can't find? No, they only found the sheath from what we can read here. I wouldn't doubt that he had 2 knives though. Yes, it was. We'll look at that right after this. So we won't be too much longer. Let's just go here. We're on page 14. We're almost there. I just want to see again, because here's where all these locations are, right? November 13th. I think that's the main thing to take away here. If you want the document and read through it yourself at your own pace, I'm going to put this on Patreon afterwards. All Patreon tiers get the exact same benefits, and it's like $1 to join, right? So that's not to plug it or like make money off this. I just put it there because that's where I can put documents for Grizzlies to read through. I put lots of documents on Patreon. Okay. So yeah, the 12 times, the stalking, that was very interesting. And then also learning at the end here, we could see the route that this guy drove all around and going to Lewiston, Idaho, which was also speculated at some point. Amazing. Like he's just driving around, going to coffee shops, going to a grocery store. That's probably where this inside source saw him on maybe the footage, wearing gloves inside the grocery store. And then people that were in class with him said he wore gloves to class as well. So we've got the historical data going there at least 12 times. I just want to quickly skim it just to make sure I don't miss anything too much here. Yeah, so he's got his staying at the coffee shop. It was just that beginning bit. I was really like, wait, what? Let's read that again. And the DNA, they went through the trash at the Pennysylvania house where he was hiding out at his parents' house. And then here they say on December 28th, huh? And they arrested him on December 30th in the middle of the night, like between 1 and 3 a.m. The Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I'm requesting an arrest warrant to be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/1994, for burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Again, we must think of the victims and their families during this very, very difficult time. I want to quickly see this one thing here. Because this, they say count 1 is burglary, and then count 2 is murder in the first degree, and it's Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Now, with anyone with legal experience in the chat, Caroline, you've got legal experience, right? Is this listed in any specific order? Count 2. So they list Madison Mogen first, then Kaylee Goncalves, then Xana Kernodle, and then Ethan Chapin. Yes, and that too. Sorry, I missed that too. Yes, he went back again. He went back again at 9 a.m. Joe Kelly says, maybe this timeline is why Steve G said that nobody suffered. I've got no other explanation. Ooh, and that creepy thing of him saying, don't worry, I'm going to help you. Wow. Yes, thank you, Van LeChimp, holding that standard. I like it a lot. Thank you. I'm looking for an answer here. if anyone knows if this is in any particular order for any reason. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, Luke, is it the order of deaths or what? Ooh, wait. Elgo, lawyer here. I don't know that. You're a lawyer with a wrench. Damn. Not necessarily, but it would make sense to put them in chronological order. Thank you, Elgo. Because it's not in alphabetical order or something. So it's like they first list Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and then Ethan Chapin. And if we look at that inside looking Reddit account, which is supposedly linked to Bryan Kohberger's email address, he did say there that the targets would have been Maddie and Xana, because Kaylee and Ethan were not supposed to be there that night. That's scary. And Maddie and Kaylee were in one room, and Xana and Ethan in another. And it was Maddie and Xana that worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. And if you type in vegan restaurants, Moscow, Idaho, the very first one is the Mad Greek. So I would speculate that he first laid eyes on who he was stalking right there at the Mad Greek restaurant. That could be two. Or order of age, interesting. Order of age, so hold on. Kaylee. Nope, it wouldn't be that either. Wait. Maddie, Kaylee. Could be, actually. Could be. Wow, so scary. Okay. Now, what I want to show you quickly. Hold on one second. Let's see this comment. Anita says DM may have thought there were others like BK in the house. That's true as well. She may have thought that there were others just like him in the house, so she froze and was probably too scared to even ring law enforcement in case she was hurt. That's true as well. Good point. What I want to show you here quickly is this inside looking. Thank you to the Grizzly who sent me this. You know, even though the account's been deleted, the Grizzlies have kept track. So it says comments sorted by new. Chief of Police James Fry thanking public for recent tips. Inside looking says, or just slowing down on updating the public with the same info all the time. Then they say inside looking, which we believe is Bryan Kohberger, says, yeah, it goes back to the owner. They're talking about house being turned over to the owner. He says, yeah, it goes back to the owner. Again, they say, look at the killer's route. The blood runs down from XE room, not the stairs. And then this was, does the killer likely live in the neighborhood? And then he said, you mean 0% chance. Because someone said a 50-50 chance. He said, you mean 0% chance. The killer, I'm just going to read the highlighted comments because that helps a lot. Wow, you got him. Does the killer likely live in the neighborhood? And then it says, killer didn't walk there, in my opinion. And this guy, Bryan Kohberger, was practicing all these runs. He was running like 6 miles at night at a time. Remember that other friend who said they ran a lot? And his Strava account, which is on Twitter, shows that Bryan Kohberger was running in the direction of the house, possibly even running from his apartment to the house. Can you believe that? Can it be premeditated on all if only one target? I don't know. Thanks for the question. So the thing is, if he's running at night, but then this dude goes in the Elantra, like what? And he says, killer didn't walk there, in my opinion. Yeah, he didn't run there either. He drove his mother's white Elantra. Now here he says, the killer enters the sliding door and exits the sliding door. If KM or KM were targets, the path doesn't cross XE. If X or E or XE were the targets, the path doesn't cross KM. Are you following? Thank you for being here and for that support. So I'll say it for easy. The killer enters the sliding door and exits the sliding door. If Kaylee or Maddie or Kaylee Maddie were the targets, the path doesn't cross Xana and Ethan. If Xana or Ethan or Xana and Ethan were the targets, the path doesn't cross Kaylee or Maddie. Ethan and Kaylee did not reside at the home. Therefore, Xana and Maddie must have been the targets. That's what allegedly he wrote. And this account has gone quiet. It's actually been deleted. It went quiet since he was arrested, and now it's gone. And then he says, not ex-military, in my opinion. He says, no, they were at Sigma Chi. Wow. He said K was not the target, in my opinion. XM were the targets. K was not the target, in my opinion. XM were the targets. Look at the killer's route inside the home. K being the target doesn't make any sense. I know, right? The messenger says, ironic, his lawyer looks like two of the victims. Okay. We won't be much longer. He says here, being on the run is not fun, in my opinion. Yeah, you don't say. Look at the map, at the killer's movements. So anyway, that's where that is. Where does it say about this knife? He does talk about that sheath. I just don't know if it's on here. But I'm so grateful for Grizzly saving this. I will find it. I'll go through everything. It's what I do. Her parents can't get closure without the why, in my opinion. Well, that's scary. Scary comment by him. The killer went to XE room and then to MK room, in my opinion. So there he says, the killer, he wrote this allegedly. The killer went to Xana and Ethan's room and then to MK's room, in my opinion. Oh my gosh. I'm going to quickly just keep scrolling. I just want to find this knife thing, and then we're going to look at the Twitter updates, and then I'm going to call it a day, and then I think I've got lots of homework to do either way. Little sleep for me, huh? That is true as well. Good point. You could text 911. Important for situations in which the caller is afraid to speak for fear of being heard. Yes. Thank you. You say thank you for all that you do. Love this channel. The name of the coffee place, it was like Kate and Joe or something like that. Kate and something. I'm going to put the document out later. Okay. What does this say? Inside looking. No, two vastly different personas, in my opinion. What is this question? The killer went to XE room, then MK. Two vastly different personas, in my opinion. Interesting. Write them a letter and find out. He says JD cleared. He says wrong. The killer went to XE room and then to MK room, in my opinion. He only started the IMO thing later, in my opinion. He says wrong. The killer was in the parking lot behind the house and then drove off from there, in my opinion. What if this was a SA attempt and then he says it's not SA? Very interesting looking back at all this, huh? He says, yeah, it's not the movies. He dodged a bullet, in my opinion, which is probably, I think they're talking there about Jack. If Jack D had come over, he says he dodged a bullet, in my opinion. That's scary. If Jack had come over, because everyone's like, why didn't Jack answer the calls? And we've also heard that from inside sources. There's apparently, from all these channels I watch, right? Apparently, Jack was hanging out with his roommates or friends or whatever, and Kaylee was calling, and then one of the friends said, no, man, don't always answer her calls. Like, you guys are broken up now. She broke up with you. Don't always answer her calls. Don't be whipped, basically. So he didn't answer the calls. And the guilt he must feel over that is a lot, and he must not feel guilty for anything. You know, none of this is his fault. This is all the suspect's, the killer's fault. And so that is apparently why he didn't take that call that night. He may have also been sleeping. This is from what I've heard, you know, on the internet. But that made sense to me. And if he had come over, then here inside looking is saying, well, he dodged a bullet, in my opinion. Because then maybe it would have been, you know, he would have been upstairs as well. And again, he says killer went to EX room first and then to MK room. Did the killer find X's bedroom by accident? He said, this is what law enforcement is trying to figure out. Did they find the white Hyundai Elantra? He says, no. This is hectic, you guys. Why did the police believe these murders were initially targeted? They didn't have a suspect at the time. Killer went straight to X's room. It was not by accident. They say, is the killer on these boards? Speculation. They are on one of them. 100%. And then it was this guy. That's scary. Was he ever in the Grizzly chat? How do we know? Probably. Speculation, one killer. We're almost done. Actually, there's so much. There's so much here. I'm trying to find that one. We'll be here all day. We'll be here all day if we go through all this. And I know you love it. But like, damn, replay watchers, shame. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is this? I know that here he talks about that knife sheath at some point. So I'll find it for you guys and make a video about it. Okay, how about that? Jenna says, I'm going to post my current detailed opinion of later that day below. Great job. I love your channel. Oh, thank you, Janet. Generally, Jenny says, I hope the trial isn't years from now. It'll be a painful wait for more info. And it could be, right, the way these things go. I mean, the Velo trial hasn't even happened yet, and that's Idaho. Okay, so I'm going to have to go through all of that. I could see there's so much to do. One more thing I want to do is, before we go, we're going to check one more time on what Brian Enton here is saying. What did he say here? Got anything else here? Hey, going up. You can see my inbox is like, well, go. I know it says 8 here, but believe me, in the requested box is like, I can't get to them all. Okay, so I spoke with Latah County Sheriff. He says he has heard of nothing out of the ordinary with Kohberger in the jail so far. He says they are trying to accommodate Kohberger's vegan diet restrictions, but we are not going to buy new pots and pans or anything like that. Damn. Yes, I've seen that. Thank you so much, Julie. You can just email me stuff like that. Thank you so much. So as sad as it is, you guys, this guy has got, he's innocent till proven guilty, and he has rights. So everyone freaking out about him, his vegan diet restrictions being accommodated. Well, he has rights, and so they do that. They do that in jails. Vegan diets, beans, rice, apples, oranges, apple sauce apparently too. He started at MK's based on the affidavit info. Debatable, right? I'm going to read it again. Not right now. Not right now, but we'll read it. I'll read it again. You know that's what I'll be doing tonight. True crime never stops, right? Getting ready to go on TV, taking your questions. Okay, so that we all saw. And one more, Bryan Kohberger. I'll do one more. I'll just tell you one more article here. There's so much stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, what I want to show you is this. Wait, where is it? This one, my word. This was an interesting one. Accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger's sister starred in a horror movie about young people being stabbed to death. The sister of accused Idaho College killer Bryan Kohberger starred in a gory, low-budget slasher movie where characters are brutally stabbed, slashed, and hacked to death with knives and hatchets. Amanda Kohberger appeared as Lori in the 2011 flick 2 Days Back, about a group of young students who go hiking in the remote woods and meet their grisly end at the hands of a maniac killer who has won over their trust. In the chat, Brian calls it a hilt. Yes, very interesting. Thank you. Amanda Kohberger appeared as Lori, right, in this 2011 flick. Okay, it bears eerie similarities to the knife attack in remote Moscow, Idaho, which left 4 young college friends stabbed to death in their beds. Crimes that Brian now stands accused of. You're effing kidding me. Her brother is that guy? Goddamn man, holy cow, said 2 Days Back director Kevin Boone when reached by the Post on Wednesday. Boone, now professor of English and Media Studies at Penn State Mont Alto, explained that he made the film as a student and cast aspiring actress Amanda Kohberger after an open audition. Remember as well, it's not her fault, you guys. People can be like, yeah, you see. But no, this guy, you don't know what he's inspired by or how he's trying to get attention, right? Mama Duke says, currently way behind. Almost speechless hearing the details. Thank you, Grizzly and mods, for all your hard work. Thank you very much. And yes, thank you to all the mods. We're almost done. Okay, so I remember her well. I directed the movie, wrote the movie, I cast her, he said. She's a lovely woman who was very nice. I liked her a lot. The film follows a group of environmentally conscious students who go into the woods on a 6-day mission to catch forestry students suspected of illegal foresting, according to the film's promotional materials. Things quickly go wrong as students go missing and are found slashed by knives and left to bleed out, hacked with a hatchet, caught in a bear trap, and at least one character is killed and then bound to a tree. Multiple students end up getting murdered by a twisted peer with a previous unknown connection to the woods, but not Amanda's Lori. As things start to get weird, she flees and is seen safely back on campus at the end of the film. Laurie turns her back on the other people and takes off, but she is not one of the murdered, said Boone. Meanwhile, Bryan faces very serious charges of murdering University of Idaho students Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin as they slept in their beds on November 13th. Amanda, who now works as a licensed school counselor in Pennsylvania, was in court on Tuesday to support their brother before he was extradited to Idaho. She was joined by her sister Melissa and her parents Michael and Mary Ann. The family released a statement on Sunday saying that they stand by him in order to promote his presumption of innocence. The alleged killer is expected to plead not guilty to the crimes. His Pennsylvania-based lawyer, Jason LaBarre, previously said in a statement, Bryan is eager to be exonerated of these charges. Yeah, after what we read, I don't know about that. One of Amanda Kohberger's co-stars, Catherine Howard, told the Post that the two were friends when we made the film, but didn't stay in touch. I don't know how much about it. No, sorry, she said, I don't know much about her family or anything. She was a very sweet girl. We got along great, she said. Here he is as well. See here, you can't really see injuries. Boone remembered Amanda Kohberger as easy to work with and says she did a great job acting. I know she had tried to get into movies, on low-budget movies. There's a bunch of scummy kind of guys, but she was smart enough not to go for that stuff, he said. There was nothing weird about her. I cannot believe that's her brother. Amanda's page on IMDb doesn't list any other acting credits. 2 days back can be viewed online. Wow. Okay. Now we are exhausted, you guys. Okay, so we're going to take a breather. I'm going to call it a day for now. Thank you, Mods. Really appreciate it. That was 2 hours and 36 minutes. It was quite a long live stream for me. I know I've done a 12-hour one in the past, but damn, that was long. So thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. I'll probably be filming a video of me just reading through that one more time so that it's easy watching as well without interruptions or things like that. And I'll put the document on Patreon if you guys do want it. Again, if you could, buy a coffee for the docket who got this probable cause affidavit for us very quickly. It's buymeacoffee.com/the docket. He's our Grizzly document hunter, and we appreciate him so, so much. So thank you so much to the docket. And he's also got a YouTube channel, the docket 71. All right, if you want to buy me a coffee, because I'm going to need it too. buymeacoffee.com/GizlaK. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope that you, as much as this is grim information, enjoy the read through and discovering these details. And I'm sure we have a lot to process, right? A lot, yes. The channel is called The Docket 71. And he actually reads our documents too. I'll show you quickly, and then I'm going to go. Here we go. This is the channel, The Docket, Criminal Case Document, and FOIA Chaser. Banner designed by yours truly. Okay, that's me. The Docket 71. This is the channel. Go subscribe over there, and you can check out. He's got videos here, and he's also got live streams. Okay, so the video here is as well. This was 2 hours ago that he published this. Breaking Chad Daybell's motion to continue denied, and Laurie will not raise the mental health defense at the time of the trial. So just go and check this out. If you are following the Velo case, he's got all the latest documents as they come out, as he did with this probable cause affidavit today. All right. Vanderchim says, gee, he's also a graphic designer now, unstoppable. I actually designed a lot of channel banners for a lot of channels. Yes, indeed. I do like that. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Stay safe. And Mods, thank you so much again.